Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Mountain Valley Farm. This is episode number 11, and we're doing a little bit of grass cutting today, as you can kind of see from what we're doing here. It's not rocket science here. We've got a tractor, we've got some mowers, and we're mowing some grass. So hopefully this will get us started in sort of our grass needs. Obviously we need to do some silage, we need to do grass, we need hay, we need it all basically. And this is how we're going to more or less get it, is from mowing both the land areas that we own that we can basically get to without the need of cutting down any more trees and such. And so as you can kind of see, this is game day number 5, so this is the first game day of late spring. So we are, just as a reminder, we are playing with the seasons mod, and we are playing with 2 game days per season, and we're kind of playing at a 5x time speed, which is just kind of helps keep things from getting too long in the tooth as far as our game days are concerned. Of course, I am doing a little bit of fast forwarding. I think the previous episode we had worked until I think about 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon before we finally called it quits. And I'm really not sure how much yield we're going to get out of this grass cut. I suppose that if we waited another day or maybe another 2 days until the first game day of summer, we might get a little bit more yield out of this. But also that might limit us on the number of cuts that we could expect to get out of this grass. So I'm sort of hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that we can get at least 2 cuts from some of these fields. But then again, I also think that we've got plenty of grass on this map. We've got the area that is on the other side of the road, so that circle, if you will, that we just sort of discovered how we could get access to that. We talked about that last episode, talked about the fact that I had contacted the county commissioner or the county agent and discussed how we could go about getting access to that, and he told me that how we could go about doing that, and that's obviously back behind the diner or beside the diner there. So we will be taking advantage of that if we need it, but we also have plenty of cuts that I think that we can also get just in and around the areas that we own, that we have access to, and I think that that will obviously get us where we need to be with regards to our grass needs, our silage, and our hay needs. So we will be wrapping grass bells as silage. We've got the Corona baler we've got, and so we will do that. That will probably be next episode. I do need to get some materials for that. I need to get the baling foil or the wrap, and also the baling string. I need to pick those up from the store and get those down to the main farm, and that way we can go about our business with regards to that. So hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day, and hope you are having a wonderful week. I am back from vacation. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I'm actually still on vacation, but I am back home from my trip. Okay, so let me just shut off the mowers here. Well, I tell you what, let me just pause for a moment. I'm going to get the screenshot, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. So I'm just going to just sort of move down to the other area. We're just going to kind of move this direction, and we'll kind of figure out what we need to tether for hay and all that kind of stuff. We'll just probably start right now with pretty much doing grass and baling the grass for silage for now, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. Let's see, is this another wide open spot? Let me kind of peek through here and see. I do sort of forget where. Yeah, this is a nice spot here to cut, so we will go ahead and do that. And I think I've done fairly good with not, coming in and basically cutting out these areas, cutting out the trees and everything, I don't think that that was something that we needed to necessarily do. And so we'll get the back mowers folded down and get them going. But anyway, I am back from Estes Park, back from Rocky Mountain National Park, and back more or less home. We have a few days of our vacation still before we go back to work. And so it is actually, let's see, what is today? I have actually lost track of time, and that I think is a good indication that you've had a successful vacation or a successful time off, when you kind of forget what day of the week it is. But it is July the 5th, it is Wednesday, and we got back home this afternoon from Estes Park, from Rocky Mountain National Park, where we had went and spent, well, we drove up on Friday evening of last week and took Friday off. We drove up and spent Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday night. So we spent the 4th of July up there. Our wedding anniversary was the 1st of July, so we had that day up there as well. Went into Rocky Mountain National Park 3 times, 3 days, and did hikes on 2 days, and did a really big hike yesterday. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, you know, my wife and I love Colorado wildlife. We absolutely love the Colorado wildlife, everything from deer, something as small as a squirrel. I mean, we just appreciate what God has basically given us, and we are both sort of subscribed to the theory that, you know, humans don't own this world. We just basically get to live here. We're almost like the guardians. We're the stewards, if you will, of this beautiful world that we live in, that we get a chance to live in and celebrate life and everything. And so we had gone up to Estes Park. Obviously, we enjoy going up there. We usually go up there once or twice a year. Well, the last couple of years, we have gone up for the Elk Fest, which is in the fall time frame. It's in the late September, early October time frame, and it basically coincides with the rut, which is sort of the mating season for the elk. The bull elks sort of do battle with each other to try to prove their worthiness of courting a female elk, obviously with the idea that they will mate and then have little elk offspring, little elk calves. And so we've been going up there in the fall, like I said, the last several years. And so we spent my 50th birthday up there last October and had such a great time up there, and it was just good fun and everything. Well, we have a cabin, it's not one we own, but it's one that we rent out. And so we were up there for my 50th, and we decided that we might enjoy spending our anniversary, our 10th wedding anniversary. And so I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to bore you with more of that discussion, but that's what the celebration was. Well, we went up there with the whole idea that it was going to be sort of an R&R. It was going to be rest, relaxation. We were going to get into the park. We were going to do some hiking and stuff like that, which obviously isn't that restful, but in any event, just enjoy everything. And so in Colorado, we have had a very healthy and growing moose population. Like bull, we call the moose. It's been very, very healthy. It's been expanding. I think when I first moved to Colorado, I went on a ski trip to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. This was back in the probably very late 90s, early 2000 time frame, 1999 or 2000. And I saw my very first moose in the wild in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I came back and asked some of my friends in Colorado, I'm like, well, are there not any moose in Colorado? And they're like, well, there are a few. They're mostly on the western side of Rocky Mountain National Park, but they're very rare. It's very rare that you will actually see a moose. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's fair enough. And so let me kind of think where we want to go to next. Let me lift this up. Let me just shut the mowers off. We'll raise that mower deck up, and we'll do the same and raise that one up, and we'll see if we can get through here. Anyway, so we decided, and I spoke to a colleague of mine, and we're not going to be able to get through there without folding them, but that's okay. So I spoke to a colleague of mine who has a cabin over on the western side of Rocky Mountain National Park, sort of on the Grand Lake, Granby side, if you're familiar with that area. And so I spoke to her, and she's like, yeah, she says, for the most part, that's where the most of the moose population lives, is over there. And she's like, we have a cabin on that side, and it's fairly, it's fairly common to actually see moose on that side of the park, so you shouldn't have a problem in, finding some. Well, so basically the way that you get over to the western side of Rocky Mountain National Park, if you're in Estes Park, is you have to go over what is called Trail Ridge Road. And it's, I think the highest point of the highway itself is somewhere around 12,000, just shy of 13,000 feet. And so this road is only open about 4 months out of the year, 5 months out of the year. It usually closes about mid-October, and it will usually open as quick as they can get it open after the spring snows and everything. But we had snow as late as Mother's Day this year, so that did kind of hamper and slow the process down. But anyway, Trail Ridge Road was open, and so we took that over, and it takes about an hour and a half or so. So we drive over there. Well, we, looked through some of the areas where we thought moose might, frequent, where we had been told by the park rangers and such that there might be moose there. Well, we saw the largest herd of elk that my wife and I had ever seen basically in one place. Usually the elk herds in the fall will be anywhere from 30 to maybe, 50 animals. This herd was, I would estimate, 100 to 120, and it was just incredible. And so we came on back, and I headed on back over towards Estes Park. Didn't see a moose. And then I think the very next day was the first day that we hiked in the park, and we didn't see a moose that day. And so my wife and I wanted to do this hike up to Cub Lake. It's on the eastern side of the Rocky Mountain National Park. So we thought, well, that would be a fun thing for us to do on the last day that we're in the park, and that's what we would do. So we sort of got up early and decided that, because obviously it's Independence Day holiday weekend and all that stuff, and this was actually on the 4th of July that we did this hike, that we would get an early start. So we set our alarm. We got up, we got into the park and everything fairly early, got to the trailhead, got our boots laced up, got everything, our packs on and everything, and headed down the trail. And the hike to Cub Lake is about 2.5 miles from the trailhead, and so it took us about an hour and a half or so. We don't hike very fast. Remember, my wife is recovering from being very, very ill, and she was feeling super great, and I really think that the rest and just the relaxation, and I think the fresh mountain air also did her absolutely wonders. So we took it slow. We got back there. We had taken some bread rolls and some couple of pieces of fruit and some other things to basically have a snack once we got to Cub Lake. And then our plan was we'd stay there for a little while, we'd take some pictures, and then basically head back to the trailhead. Well, I had actually picked up a package of bacon jerky, and so that was sort of my meat content. So I had taken some of that and slapped it between one of the bread rolls that I had, which, by the way, is a pretty darn good trail snack, and certainly something that I'll be packing again sometime soon. But I had put it up to my mouth, I had taken a bite, and I was looking out across the lake, across Cub Lake, and I saw some movement in the trees on the other side of the lake. And the other side of the lake is about 100 yards from our position where we were. And lo and behold, a female moose cow stepped out of the woods with a baby calf, and she managed to drop down into the lake. She stepped off into the lake there and basically began eating. Evidently, I did not know this, but moose eat predominantly. Well, I mean, I guess they're vegetarians, I suppose, is the word to use. I don't know what the technical term for that is, but anyway, they eat a lot of the plant life and stuff that grows in these ponds. There was a lot of water lilies and other things, and they stick their head under the water and I guess pull up from near the roots or whatever and pull this up. And they can eat like 50 or 60 pounds of this stuff in a day's time. And so we just basically sat there and watched. The calf went back up into the high grass, and that's where the calf stayed for the majority of our visit there to Cub Lake. But then we sort of stayed there. We watched, and she, the mama cow, moose cow, she finished up what she was doing, and then basically she proceeded back up into the trees with the baby calf following. So all good. And so we decided, okay, well, now's the time we need to basically hike back. And so we did that. And let me just shut off this mower back here. And we will proceed back to the farm, and we'll bring down the rake, and we will rake these fields that we have just now cut. But anyway, on the way back, there was a smaller lake that we passed, or smaller pond, I would say, not really the same size as a lake. And as we passed it, we saw that there was another female moose with this, and then this one had 2 calves. So we saw a total of 5 moose yesterday. We didn't see a bull. I was really hoping to see a bull moose with the full antlers and all that stuff, because I've actually never seen a bull moose in the wild. The moose that we saw in Jackson Hole, that was a female. So huge animals. While they may not be as elegant as some other animals that you might find in in the national parks and the national forests and stuff like that, they're still quite interesting in their own right. So it was quite, like I said, it was quite an enjoyable thing to see, and I think that my wife and I both very much enjoyed ourselves. So let me disconnect these, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, well, right back with you, and I just wanted to take a stop here before we proceed back down the hill and rake this grass up. Just thought I would let you see that our crops are coming in and looking quite nicely. Of course, in this game day, we most likely will need to do some fertilizing, and of course there's those darn crop lines that we see, and of course not much that we can do about that, and everything should be fine with it. Obviously this is not the first map that we've seen that with. It's got something to do with seasons, but seasons is not the only crop or growth management mod that I have seen that with. You might remember back many months ago, back before I discovered the Seasons mod and began using the Seasons mod, you might remember that I was using another sort of growth manager mod, and I was seeing the exact same thing. So it just tends to happen. I think it just tends to happen the first season. I think that if we were to play this map more than one season, I think those go away. If memory serves me correctly, I don't think we saw those on law folds on the second year, the second time around. We did obviously see them the first time around, but I don't believe that we saw those problems on the second time around. So we're just going to go ahead and unfold this and rake up this grass. And of course, this is what we will, we'll pick a small portion of this grass up with our forage harvester, and then also bale the rest of it for silage purposes. I don't think we'll bale grass just simply because, quite honestly, with the changes that they've put into the seasons mod, the baled grass doesn't last very long, nor does the grass that you pick up with the forage wagon. But still, there's no need to go through the effort of baling the grass. We will just collect enough of it up and go ahead and just fill our feed levels up to the max, and then maybe store some of it, or a full trailer, full forage harvester portion of that, and then call that good. So that's how we will sort of tackle that. It will be interesting to see if before, I think when I was playing law folds, I don't believe I was on the latest and greatest version of the seasons mod when we basically closed that map out. And I think that that the development team had made one more change to the seasons mod, and I need to do my research. I'm coming off vacation, so I haven't actually played Farm Sim 17 in over a week with my work schedule and with vacation and everything, so it has been a while. But I think maybe there was a change or something where obviously we're only feeding animals three game days, I believe. So I'm not really sure. I know that when we, sorry about those autosave pauses, nothing I can do about that. But I believe that when we were playing Seasons mod on law folds, I believe that I could basically fill up the, as long as I filled up the grass for the cows before the first day of winter, we could get through 6 game days before they needed to be. So I could be back into spring, and I could go and cut just a little bit of grass and still be able to keep them 100%. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to be possible now, because I think that if we fill them up the day, if we top them up the day before winter, then I believe that they will run out of grass, and we will drop below 100% productivity. But I don't think that there's really anything that we can do about that, and I think that we just have to sort of chalk that up and say, that's just part of doing this, is that you can't always have grass, because especially in an area like this map obviously is sort of depicted to reside in sort of in a mountainous area, mountain sort of terrain, Colorado, something like that. And clearly, grass would deteriorate before you would be able to feed it all out. And so it's okay. It's okay if the animal productivity goes sort of beyond or below 100%. That's okay. I'm okay with that, I think is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, again, hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July. If you guys had any sort of plans, if you did anything special, if you had anything that was as exciting, maybe even more exciting than my 4th of July, then please tell me about it. Either make a comment down below the video, or send me an email, or just however you want to go about communicating with me is perfectly fine with me. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and liking and commenting and even telling others. I hope that you guys will continue to do that. We'll continue to tell others about the channel, about the things that we do. Running a G-rated channel is something that's still very much important to me. And I hope that it's all in something that you guys enjoy seeing and watching and everything as well. So, all right, so we'll just kind of tiptoe over here to the other side and start raking some of this. I imagine that our 30 minutes is coming pretty close here, and I think probably we will go ahead and start getting things wrapped up here, and then I will do the raking of that other field and do that, probably do that off camera. And then for episode, let's see, episode number 12, when we come back for episode number 12, then most likely we will be baling the grass that we have raked up and then turning that into silage. So if you're new to Farm Sim 17, now I don't know about the Corona baler. I do know that if you use the Coon, if you have the Coon DLC pack, and if you were to actually tether this grass to turn it into hay, and then if you use the Coon, either the square bale wrapper, or if you use the round baler that wraps the silage bales, it will wrap a hay bale and turn that into silage. It basically, when it picks the bale up, the square bale wrapper, it will turn it, the game will automatically turn it back to grass, so you'll sort of visibly see it go green again, and then it will wrap it and that will turn into silage. But clearly we're just saving the step, because you wouldn't make silage with hay, because the whole art of silage is the fermentation process, and basically we need material, in other words grass, we need that to still be a bit wet, and so that's basically why we're just raking this up, and we will just bale this directly, and so that will be that. It is a little hard to kind of see where we need to go with the rake. I don't know if that's just I don't know if it's just because it's semi-early morning. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock. Or if it's just the texturing and everything with this map. Obviously, this is not the first time I've cut grass on this map. I did cut grass off camera a couple of game days ago, just to get a little bit of grass to get our cows up to 100% productivity. I just wanted to get them up to 100% productivity with a small amount of grass, and we still have a small portion of that left over. And it was sort of hard to tell where you had cut, but I sort of thought that was because it was the grass wasn't very tall. It wasn't, probably needed to grow just a little bit more, but it was a very small field, and I just kind of took the small mower and put it on the front of the tractor, and I used the forage wagon to just sort of mow and pick up as I went along, and kind of do that all in one motion. And I got basically a full load of grass, which I gave a portion of that to the cows, and then kept a portion of it back. But anyway, my timer on OBS is saying that I've been talking here for about 30 minutes, and granted, I will have cut a little bit of this out, because there was some pauses that I did for getting the screenshot and all that kind of stuff. So you'll be right at about 30 minutes, about a 30-minute episode. But I did want to basically, spend much of my time talking about my vacation, kind of letting you all know that I had a wonderful, wonderful time. It was a fantastic time in Estes Park, and I still have a few days before we go back to work, and so that's obviously going to be a very good thing. I'm going to get some videos done, get some farm sim stuff done, probably get some flight sim content done up for you guys, and but I wanted to share my vacation stuff with you guys that have been watching my farm sim stuff. So I may or I may not repeat some of this with my other videos that I do. but I at least wanted to share it in my farm sim videos, since that's where the majority of my viewers basically come from, is through the farm sim stuff. So anyway, I will go ahead and say thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you watching. Please continue to like my videos and continue to be a subscriber. And if you have any questions or comments about farm sim, about basically anything that you see here, remember all my mods are posted on my mod spreadsheet. And remember that you can follow me on Twitter, you can like my Facebook page, all of that stuff, all those links are down below. And when we come back again for episode number 12, which will be just in probably a few days for you guys to watch, I'll get back on schedule with getting you 2 farm sim videos a week at the minimum, and we'll get that back into schedule. But the next time that you tune in for another Farm Sim 17 video, it will be here on Mountain Valley Farm, and we will bale that grass into silage bales. So thank you all so much for watching. I always appreciate it. I still appreciate it. You're all my friends. I appreciate that. Take care. God bless you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.